Rent inflation increasing by 0.5% after rising 0.3% in October. Now, with mortgage rates falling for the fourth straight week, but still holding above 7%, prices are near record highs, and potential home buyers, well, they are getting priced out of the market. Many of them are, and they're being forced to rent. So what's ahead for housing next year? We want to bring in Bruce McNeilage. He's the CEO and co-founder of Kinloch Partners. Bruce, it's great to see you again. So talk to us just about the dynamics that are going on right now within the rental space. We are still seeing, it's interesting when you take a look at the data that we got from CPI, comparing that to what we're seeing in the private markets, where we are starting to see this deceleration in rental prices. I'm curious, what are you seeing from your perspective, and is there any relief in sight?
So in the single family rental business, we are not seeing any slowdown. We're about 98% occupied in Kinloch Partners portfolio, and the industry on a whole is 98% occupied. We are not raising rates as high as we have in the past on a percentage basis, but rents continue to be flat, if not up a little bit. And so that's making it more, it's tougher to get a house. I mean, it's more expensive to get a rental house, and it's also tougher to buy a house.
And also, I mean, this week we had Scott Sperling, co-CEO of THL Partners. This is what he had to say about the availability of homes, and this directly correlates with the rental market as well here. Just want to play this out for you.
You have this very funny situation where if you have a mortgage that was set at the lower rates, you're not going to move, and you're not going to try to swap out. And so supply, which you would think would be growing, is not growing. It's actually shrinking of available housing at the same time that you have people who require expanded housing or would like to have expanded housing. And so you have this very funny supply-demand dynamic that doesn't necessarily reflect the underlying cost of new housing.
Right.
And I'm not sure I've seen that in the last 4 decades.
And so, Bruce, it's clear that this is going to be one of the stickier elements of inflation. I mean, if you game this out for multiple years, even given what people are locked into, what are some of your expectations more long term?
So we are not seeing people move, as he said. If you have a 3 or 4 or 5% mortgage, you can't move. You're locked into that house unless you want a significantly higher payment. So people are staying put. Really, where the sales are is the entry-level home buyer from the new builder. And builders are doing great as far as supplying houses, but they can't meet demand. Demand is so much higher than what these builders are able to offer to the general public. We are millions and millions of houses short in this country. And quite frankly, it makes it tougher and tougher. Price of houses are going up, the rent's going up, because it's a supply and demand issue. There's just too much demand and not enough supply.
So Bruce, do you see home prices heading even higher as you look ahead to 2024?
Yeah, they're not gonna go down. That's for sure. And mortgage rates might go down, but if the cost of a house goes up $10,000 or $20,000, it's a wash. The payments are going to stay the same. So I keep hearing interest rates are going down, but I don't hear too many people saying, yeah, but the price of houses are going up, and so it's going to be a wash.
To what extent do you believe that home builders will need to offset some of the rate pressures that potential buyers might be anticipating?
So home builders are doing very well in offering something that's helpful to buyers, and that's a buy down, a 3-2-1 or 2-1 buy down, where they're giving you a much lower rate the first few years, maybe 4 or 5%, but then that rate's going to jump up in the second or third year, again making that payment higher than the buyers probably had budgeted for or want to pay. First couple of years, it works great, but long term, the buyers are still going to have a higher payment because of the higher interest rate.